Hey guys, Lloyd here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Mattel Masterverse Masters of the Universe Revelation Deluxe Tri-Klops. But before we get into it, let us first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, before we get into the meat and taters of this review, Tri-Klops does come with a pair of grip hands and a pair of relaxed and or praying hands so that he may worship the motherboard, as well as his trademark Tri-Klops sword, which stays true to the original while still adding some new elements to it, like the silver and gold paint. And last but certainly not least, Tri-Klops does include the accoutrements necessary to give him the grand poobah of techno-cult look that he had later on in the Masters of the Universe Revelation series, which is all connected via a strip of Velcro on the back here, and a more traditional style Masters of the Universe belt that just kind of snaps in, keeps everything together. And I must say, the fabric is a nice step up from the more felt-like material that we are used to seeing with this line. So with that being said, let us now move on to the aesthetics and the articulation. Taking a closer look at Tri-Klops here, you can clearly see that he utilizes the same kind of base block that most of the figures in this line have. Well, the one's built like He-Man anyways. So it's a little bit on the lanky side, but I think that kind of works to the figure's advantage because it gives him a little bit more of a sleek look, which I think fits the animation style of the Revelation series, much like the rest of the figures in this line. And I think since He-Man came out, they've been getting a little bit better with the base box as far as the colorization goes, because this guy has definitely been hanging out at the beach. He's got a nice tan going on. And side note, he actually has different shoulders. He's got these little kind of techno details right up on the shoulders. I'm not sure if the torso is the same as He-Man's either. This guy seems a little bit broader, which I think is good for Tri-Klops. I think Tri-Klops should be a little bit more on the broader side because he is a bad guy and it does add some intimidation factor to his overall character design and aesthetic. So I like that quite a bit. Other than that, he's got the same kind of boots, the same loincloth. He's got different armor, which has these little spikes on it. Little Ghost Rider spikes, I might add. And that definitely, I think, adds a bit to what is pretty much something close to the original Tri-Klops armor, in my opinion anyways. It is very tried and true to the original design, while having some unique elements added to it, much like his sword was. And then he also has, I don't know if these are the same bracers or not, but they look similar to He-Man's and Faker's and whoever else has these little bracelet pieces. I think Spikor does too. But yeah, I really like the look of this guy. And as far as the head sculpt goes, I guess the only thing I might have changed design-wise for this version of Tri-Klops is the eyes. I much prefer the way 2000X had the red eye, the green eye, and the blue eye. I think that's also how the original mini-comics had Tri-Klops portrayed, was with 3 different color eyes. This guy pretty much just has white eyes with pupils, but they're in different shapes. So he's got kind of the trapezoid-shaped eye, he's got a rectangular-shaped eye, and he has a straight-up circular-shaped eye. And I will tell you that this visor is very, very tight, so be careful when rotating it. You don't want to muck anything up. And a side note, the Grand Poobah head also has a rotating visor as well. So you can rotate it there, and there, and back to where I had it originally. But I will tell you, I did have to pop this top kind of Pope hat piece off because mine had some glue residue keeping it from rotating. So just be mindful that the QC on this is a little bit iffy, and you may need to do some modification there. But nothing too bad, and the kind of Pope hat piece does stay on the figure relatively snug, even though it's not glued in. But I'll probably just have Mr. Brian, aka my dad, aka the old man, glue that back on for me when he has time to do so. But getting into the articulation on this guy, it's the same we've seen from the Masterverse line. He's got a little bit of a neck hinge there, so you can look up and down. He also rotates and has a bit of tilt side to side. You can get some up and down in the head itself, and personally I like to kind of shift the neck forward and tilt the head up, so he's got a bit more of a little bit of a shorter neck going on. The armor kind of covers that. Almost got a forward hunch to him. I think that makes him look a little bit more intimidating too, a bit more like a bruiser. His shoulders go out to the side. They are very tight though. There you go. They go out to the side about that far. They go back down. They rotate around. He's got a bicep swivel. Double joint at the elbow. Very, very stiff, but I do like stiff joints, so I'm okay with that. That's what she said. And he also has a wrist swivel and a hinge. Unfortunately, no vertical hinges yet. I'm hoping we see those in this line at some point, along with origins on a character other than Buzz-Off. He does also have the torso articulation, which crunches forward and back and tilts side to side. And if you wanted to, you could take this armor off via this little kind of port on the back here. This plug in like a traditional kind of MOTU style armor piece, and he is packaged this way too, by the way. So you get the classic parts when you first open him, and then you can change him up into the Grand Poobah afterwards. So I like options. You guys know me, different display options are always a good thing, though it kind of sucks because I'm tempted to get a second one of these now, just so I have both versions, but maybe they'll last to some kind of discount. I don't know. He also has a waist swivel, and then his hips will kick out to the side, back down. They will rotate forward and back. I did have to heat these up and put a little lubricant on them to get them to work this well, though, so again, you may have to do that too, so just be mindful of that. He has a thigh cut that works really well. Double joint at the knee, which again, pretty tight on that as well. Let's have a boot swivel and a hinge in the foot with a rocker joint and 2 peg holes at the bottom of the feet. For the display stand, he does not come with, but if you do have one of these handy dandy McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse stands with the logo I can barely see on them, that is, they do work nicely on these figures. So with that out of the way, I do really like this figure, but review's not over yet. We still have yet to take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Tri-Klops next to his MOTU Origins and 2000X counterparts. Next up, here he is alongside the Deluxe Faker and Skeletor. Switching Tri-Klops back to his Grand Poobah attire, here he is next to Evelyn and Beastman. And last but certainly not least, here he is next to our 2 regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus and the MK11 Spawn, who's not towering over everyone today. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and if I'm being completely honest, Tri-Klops here is one of my favorite figures in the Masterverse line thus far, and I'm 110% confident in saying that he is most definitely worth the $30 to $35 price point, because you get a lot of stuff in the box with this guy. You can have a more bare bones classic inspired Tri-Klops, or you could change it up and give him his grand poobah of the techno cult attire so that he may worship the motherboard in all of her evil glory. Because I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was really cool. It's nice to see different things in different properties, and Masters of the Universe is one that is near and dear to my heart. It has been since I was a wee lad back in the 2000X days, so I appreciate the fact that they kind of expanded upon Tri-Klops' character in the new Masters of the Universe Revelation series. Not to mention that this guy was voiced by the awesome Henry Rollins. I'm a big Henry Rollins fan, particularly for his spoken word, more so than when he was a member of Black Flag. I got nothing against Black Flag, but punk rock's not really my cup of tea, but I do respect it because without it, we would not have my beloved thrash metal that I listen to this day. So for that, and that alone, I would highly recommend you pick this guy up. I think he is an excellent addition to the Masterverse line and an essential character to add to your Masterverse collection. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.